When asked about whether or not the Clippers wanted him back, he said, apparently not if I'm on the other side, so it is what it is, really. Jalen, what do you think about him just coming out and saying that the Clippers didn't really want him back?
I'm going to keep it 1,000. He ruined some of his value by playing poorly in the playoffs. You're going to see a lot of people getting big deals this offseason. The reason why he didn't get a long-term deal is because he was the defensive liability that the Joker continued to take advantage of to the point where they had to take him out of the game. Of course, if the Clippers would have stepped up and signed him to a big deal, or Charlotte would have gave him a big deal, or any team in the league would have gave him a big deal, guess what? He would have signed with that team. He signed with the Lakers because they were offering a 2-year deal, an opportunity to win a championship, and he hopes to replay his value as somebody that won Sixth Man of the Year.
With the Lakers adding Trez, and they had Schroeder, and they had Matthews, Gasol, it really feels like they upgraded, they got better. And you remember last year before the season, we were talking about the Lakers and the Clippers being neck and neck. But when you look at what the Clippers did, it doesn't feel like they're keeping pace. Take a look at what they did, Jalen.
Well, it's not just the Clippers, it's the rest of the league, Jacoby. And you got to look at it from a standpoint almost like a real estate transaction. The Los Angeles Lakers are a storied brand and a franchise that over the history of their team, if you look at some of the all-time great players like Wilt Chamberlain, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Shaquille O'Neal, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, none of those guys were drafted by the Lakers. They went to Los Angeles because, number one, it's a terrific franchise, but also because they wanted to be in LA. It's just going to be more attractive than other places across the league. So for the Clippers, who plays in their building, eventually will get their own. They also had a really good offseason, Jacoby. They still have Kawhi and PG and Lou Will. Okay? They did a terrific job of adding Ty Lue as their head coach, re-signing Morris. The Clippers are the second best team in the Western Conference. It's just the Lakers are playing chess right now where everybody else is playing checkers, and LeBron James is doing a terrific job of making it unfair for everybody else to compete.
Well, two things. The one thing that the Lakers and the Clippers have in common is they both have players from the Oklahoma City Thunder. Obviously, Paul George with the Clippers, and now Dennis Schroeder with the Lakers. Jalen, when you look at all of the players that the Thunder have acquiesced, coached up, and then lost, what do you think about their strategy this offseason?
You remember when Philly was talking about trust the process? In theory, that's exactly what the Oklahoma City Thunder are doing. It's just nobody's giving it to a label to it. But here's what I want to make sure I point out. All of those draft picks, and Sam Presti is one of the best general managers in the game. The Oklahoma City Thunder are cost-cutting, if you ask me. Because if you look at over the last decade, they're not going to draft players better than Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Victor Oladipo, Paul George, Steven Adams, Dennis Schroeder. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. They've been the best farm system that the NBA has seen. It's like, okay, Phoenix, we don't mind helping you out. We'll send you Chris Paul after he helped lead us to the playoffs. Wouldn't most teams be trying to keep SGA and Schrader together? But no, they're going to give up Schrader and trade him to the defending world champion. Didn't Danilo Gallinari just get a big deal with the Atlanta Hawks to help them out? Didn't Steven Adams just go to New Orleans to help them out? So if you're an Oklahoma City fan, you're really excited on paper that you got so many picks, but in theory, they ain't trying to win, dog. They cost cutting. They cost cutting.
They are. They absolutely are. Dennis Schroeder is now on the Lakers, and I used to call him Schrader as well, but I think he changed it. But he did like a Robinson thing on us halfway through his career. Now, Jalen, there's another interesting report from the NBA, and that is not just that John Wall no longer wants to be with the Wizards, but the GM Tommy Shepard says we have absolutely no plans on trading Wall. What do you think about the GM coming out and straight up saying he can ask all he wants, but that doesn't mean that we have to trade him?
I think this offseason for John Wall, when you've seen as many videos of him playing ball as in undisclosed locations in Brooklyn, it makes the organization look down at his pay salary structure and say, do we want to build around him basically after he's returning from the injury that he's returning after? And while still a talented player, on paper, you got to look at some of the deals that you're being offered. And Russell Westbrook was one of the names that was thrown out there. And for the Houston Rockets, they wanted more in return than just John Wall. If they were going to give up Russell Westbrook, this is a deal that I wouldn't be surprised, Jacoby, if it got revisited. Because for the Washington Wizards, they've decided they're going to build around Bradley Beal. They just gave Bertans a big deal. And so for that franchise, it's going to be interesting to see if Wall starts the season with them or he ends up elsewhere.
Absolutely. I think that Westbrook to Wall trade, it just makes so much sense. They're always talking about trading James Harden. Let's keep the scoring champion. Let's keep the former MVP scoring champion. And let's build around him, and let's get rid of Westbrook, who's definitely more of a problem than James Harden was when it came to their production, especially in the bubble. Now, Jalen, we also have some news from the Celtics. They have extended Jason Tatum, gave him $195 million. They've made some other moves that you can take a look at. What do you think about what the Celtics have done this offseason in their competition in the East?
I think something that I've acknowledged over the last year or so, while Danny Ainge is a terrific GM, he had a chance to cash his chips in the middle of the table, and he overplayed his hand. Of course, Jason Tatum is an all-NBA player that you want to give a max deal to, and Jaylen Brown's an all-NBA player, also a lockdown defender. But when you start losing Al Horford, Kyrie Irving, and Gordon Hayward for no assets in return, now you start to look back at the journey and like, wait a minute, they were in play for Anthony Davis, and what happened? They were in play for Kawhi Leonard, and what happened? And so now who's going to be their starting bigs? When you look at their team, Tristan Thompson, is he going to be the guy that's closing games for the Celtics this year? That is not what you anticipate as they were accumulating assets over the last handful of years, and you were building out the Boston Celtics starting team and their bench.
We always talk about Danny Ainge and all the assets and the trade assets and the draft picks they had. Well, they never really used those trade assets in trades, and the draft picks they did draft didn't really pan out the past few years when you get past that Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum class. Jalen, joining us right now on the show, right after this break, is Hit Boy, one of the hottest producers in the game. Stay tuned. You don't.
We welcome Montrezl Harrell to the show. Thanks for being here. I'm sure it's been a long couple of days. How you doing?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. So happy to have you. When you hear Montrezl Harrell of the Los Angeles Lakers, how does that sound?
She got a great ring to it, sounds like to me.
You ever picture yourself in that purple and gold? Because it's here.
I got a couple of edits that's been done. A lot of people that do animations for me have been doing some great jobs for me.
I know. Isn't Twitter and social media great? Like the minute you signed, there was like you in a jersey. It was pretty awesome.
Man, photo shopping and editor now is crazy.
So, Trez, can you share what went into your decision to potentially pass up more money to play in another city or to leave the Clippers where you had so much success to join the Lakers?
My choice was really just, from my inner circle, my family, just talking and looking over the decisions that we had on the table. And we just felt like just coming and playing the purple and gold was the best choice. And, I definitely felt like it's the best choice for me. So that's what we went with. And, I'm happy to be a Laker.
From the moment the season ended, were you talking with your family and your inner circle about the next step?
No. As soon as the season ended, I actually went home and took the time to actually grieve and be with my family and actually mourn the loss of my grandmother. And then after that, I just was being a dad as I'm continuously still doing, man. That's all I was doing, just being around my kids and just that love and that energy. That's all I've been doing. And when free agency came about, that's when, I started getting into the talks with my agent. But, I left the basketball to, what I've done and what I've produced and left out there. And that's all I could do.
Yeah, thoughts and prayers to you and your family. I know you lost your grandmother in July while you were in Orlando. What did she mean to you?
Everything. Everything in the entire world. I still have multiple, pieces with her. Everything that I do is, going to praise her name and, continue to take care of my family and my loved ones, how I've been doing, since I was 16, 17. And it's still tough to this day. But, it's still going to be one of those, growing processes, one of those things that I'm going to have to take one day at a time.
Yeah, I appreciate you sharing that, and there's no question she's very, very proud of you. Now we transition to basketball. You know, how excited are you for this opportunity to play with LeBron James, an all-time great?
I'm extremely and you know, really honored once, and you know, I'm ready to get going. Honestly, man, I can't wait for training camp to kick off, and you know, actually, you know, throw that practice jersey on and we go in there and get to work, really.
Trez, how many times have you visualized running that high pick and roll with Bron over the last couple days?
Man, I've envisioned high pick and rolls, baseline plays, all of it, lobs, everything, man. You know, like I said, I'm just ready to get going, man. This is a great feeling, and I'm just, you know, happy to be here.
I hear you on that. Listen, so you play against Anthony Davis these past 5 years. He's in New Orleans and then L.A. Played him 4 times last year, to now playing with the game's most versatile big. What do you envision that looking like, and how does your game complement his?
Like I said, I'm just doing anything and everything I can to help complement these guys what they already do well, man. They've already shown and proven that they can win a championship without the, you know, pieces that we've added this year. So I'm just coming in looking to do anything I can to complement that chemistry that these guys already have built.
Trez, we're a Lakers set here, and even we were unanimous in voting you Sixth Man of the Year. So you're coming off an incredible season. You're winning that award, and you've always been a let my work speak for itself kind of player. But what did this award mean to you personally when you really sat back and thought about it?
It's kind of one of those funny situations. It's kind of one of those things that it kind of hurts a little bit just because I lost my grandmother, and we kind of had these talks, you know, before losing her. So it's one of those things that kind of hurts and stings, but at the same time, it just made me, you know, change my mindset and to be even one of those players that's still working. You know, how they approach to the game is going to, you know, enhance even more and just speak even more for itself. You know, that's what I've always been known for. That's always what, you know, people have, you know, first said as how hard he works. And I'm just going to take that to a whole extremely different level because it's definitely one of those things that still hurt me to this day, not being able to, you know, take that trophy home and show it to my grandmother.
You know, your game's evolved every single year. How driven are you to continue to improve?
Still, continuously every day. I'm got another 1 or 2 workouts set for today. So, you know, this game is continuously changing. And, you know, I don't want to be one of those players that, you know, that label as can only do this one thing, because once you get that label, it's pretty hard to get off of you. And now it cuts you, you know, in half as a player, you know, no matter what. And I never wanted to be looked at as one of those players coming into this game. I want to, you know, always look at myself as a person that, you know, can do multiple things in this game whenever asked, whenever needed. That's the way I always approach the game. That's the way I always look at my game. And, you know, the things that I do well, you know, I enhance those things, but the things that I don't do well, I work extremely hard on, 2-3 times harder than what I already do well.
Trez, last thing, and I got to be honest, if that's okay with you, you were always a player that drove us Laker fans absolutely crazy because of how hard and how well you played against them every damn time. Right. It would be like, I can't stand Trez, but man, I'd love him in a Laker uniform. And then when the signing was announced, Laker Twitter goes nuts. It celebrates. I know how excited Laker fans are. What message do you have for Laker Nation?
Well, the only message that I have is, you know, now you guys don't have to hate me. Now you can love me.
hey, it was always a lot of love. Just so much respect.
Yes, sir. Right. Thank you so much.
All right, Trez. So happy to have you, and thank you for taking the time. Really appreciate it, and hope to see you soon.
No. Thank you for having me. Thank you.